Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is a nice cloudy, rainy, cold, stormy October day, and we get to pick my next read for today. Oh no. We'll go with the one in the middle. Okay, as you may or may not know, I am doing a bit of a booktuber trick or treat where I read some books recommended either as tricks or as treats from my fellow friends. And today we have, oh my god, Killing Brittany. This is from Richie, my good friend, who I was trying to manifest, who isn't technically a booktuber. And I believe this is a trick book. I know absolutely nothing about this book, so bear with me as I go find my phone.
Sam, I've got a doozy for this trick. And it is Killing Brittany by Sean Olin, which is a book that nobody has ever read and nobody has ever heard of except for me, it feels like. I feel like I'm running through the streets screaming this book's name. But here's the thing. This was one of my favorite horror books of all time when I was 14 years old, and I have not read it since I was a teenager. So is it good? Is it terrible? I guess you're gonna have to find that out for me, because I truly don't know, but I loved this book in high school, and I hope that you at least have a good time with it. I truly don't know what you're about to get into.
Okay, so Killing Brittany came out in 2005. It's by Sean Olin. Brittany is the girl everyone loves to hate. Ever since Brittany transformed herself from freak and geek to most popular girl at school, her life has been touched by a tragedy. First, it was her mom who drowned on a family rafting trip. Then her hockey star boyfriend Ricky was killed in a hit and run. When the death continues to pile up, everyone fears for Brittany. Sure, she's popular, blonde, and fabulous, but is that enough reason for someone to want and kill her? Interesting. That's very interesting. Let me see. So unfortunately, Richie, this book doesn't exist in the many libraries that I have access to, so I think we're gonna have to poll again and pray that we just get another Richie book. If not, I'll freaking cheat and just read a Richie book anyway, but that's unfortunate. It's nowhere. And I don't necessarily want to buy a physical copy of a book because it might not get here in time to like read this fast enough, you know? So that's a bummer. Okay, moving on. Okay. Oh no. Okay, well, this was bound to happen.
Sam, for your trick this Booktober, I have picked Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. And you may be saying that that's a highly respected classic novel, but everybody knows there's a lot of controversy around it, and I, unironically, refer to it as my favorite classic of all time. I love this book. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's so good. And one time, I said that it was my favorite classic to a guy on Hinge, and he blocked me. But I think that it's a great read. I understand the controversy. I just think it's dumb, and I need your take on it. So for your trick, you're reading Lolita, babes. I don't know how you do this without dying. This is so, like, weird.
I'll be so real, so honest. I'll read this. I'll read Lolita. I don't know if I've got the brains to have conversations about Lolita right now. It's one of those things that's like surprising I haven't read, I know. Oh, it's a classic though, but I feel like it's gonna be, maybe a little bit hard to stomach at times. Is it available? Of course it's not. I'm putting it on hold, but in case I don't get it in time, should I pick another thing? This feels crazy. This is their other trick for me. So I pulled both of their tricks and not the treats that I was trying to manifest. So that's silly of me. Everything that I've pulled to read, I've either already owned or has been available and ready to read like immediately. So I don't know. I haven't been in this position of like something I have to wait on hold for. What do I do? What do I do? I feel like at this point I should just read Richie's treat book. There's two of them. So I could, I feel like I'm just cheating for Richie at this point. You just get to see all of Richie's videos. Ha. So I think we've decided that I'm just gonna have a little Richie day. I'm just gonna read Enchanted as like a treat for myself just because I really want to, and then maybe I'll watch the movie as like a fun thing for me. But I will also pick up, because it's short and Join Me Among My Ruins, and I will read Lolita whenever it comes in just because I'm waiting for it. And then unfortunately I'll just, if I can find Killing Brittany anywhere else, maybe I'll pick it up. We'll have to wait and see. I'll do some investigating. I'll get back to you guys shortly.
Sam, I've got a treat for you. My favorite book of all time, and I mean this unironically. You are reading Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. Not only do I think it's fantastic fantasy, I also think it is one of my favorite romances I have ever read in any book, ever. And I think the movie is fun, but nothing like the book, so I think you're going to be, hopefully, pleasantly surprised. And I hope you have a really good time with it, because I love this book. And I also, for a little treat this Booktober, wanted to give you something that's not 500 pages. So enjoy Ella Enchanted, and I'm excited to see what you think.
Doubleday Dell Audio Publishing presents Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. Chapter 1. That fool of a fairy Lucinda did not intend to lay a curse on me. She meant to bestow a gift. When I cried inconsolably through my first hour of life, my tears were her inspiration.
I finished Ella Enchanted and I wanted to come chat with you guys. I thought that we could start this video on a high note and just and delight in a little bit of a fantasy. I will say that the movie is one of my favorite movies of maybe all time. I love the Ella Enchanted movie. I was raised on it. I did not know that a book existed in my childhood for it, and I adore the movie. I love everything about it. I can quote it, I can sing it, I've got it in here, you know? So, getting to rewatch the movie after reading this, fun time. This was definitely written in 1997. There's definitely some moments where you're like, but it is quite different. Like, the messaging and, like, the overall themes are still the same, but we see Ella going to boarding school or finishing school in the book, and, oh, the narrator is bad. The narrator makes Ella sound like a child, and when you speed up the audiobook, oh, it sounds bad. Like, there's a lot of decisions that I just don't like. Ella is supposed to be, I think, 15, and sounds like a full child. So that was a little bit tough to get through, but I like the book. I don't love the book. I think because I don't have that nostalgia factor towards it. I didn't read it as a kid, so I don't have the same, like, yes! It's definitely more of a Cinderella retelling compared to the movie. The movie, I think, kind of skips over some of the retelling stuff. So this feels more like a direct retelling of Cinderella, whereas the movie feels like a little more adjacent. But I did appreciate in this that we got more of the, like, world building. We get to see more of Mandy. We get to see just, like, more of the creatures. The ogres have lore. Like, everybody has lore. Everybody has language. Gail Carson Levine, inspired by Tolkien, of course. All fantasies to some degree might be, but she has, like, languages for different creatures going on that I, enjoyed. I just like the depth that we get from this, but it's definitely different. I think Ella Enchanted, the movie, feels a little bit more grown up. Maybe also, again, because of the narrator of the audiobook, that kind of, being at finishing school, seeing, like, more of the mom and dad, even if, the classic Cinderella bad parent tropes, I did appreciate those moments. It's hard not to compare to the movie, is my problem. Like, I just have such a soft spot for the movie that it's hard to separate the two things and just, like, read this for what it is and not compare it to this movie that I've adored for so long in my life. It was very interesting to see the differences. It was very fun to pick this up. I did overall like obviously I like Ella as a character, but I did overall like the narration tone and style. It's a little bit darker than I was expecting. I really like the letters, like the epistolary portions of this, I think were, like, a good addition as well. So yeah, I overall had, like, a good time with this. It was definitely, like, not what I was expecting. Like, I don't know why. I think because I don't typically read book to movie adaptations. I don't typically, like, go back and read books for movies that I've seen. So I normally am in the camp of, like, yeah, the movies are better, which is, I know, embarrassing for me. Where was I going with that? Oh, I'm saying that it's interesting to, like, go back and read a book, because I fully expected, like, a Perks of Being the Wallflower situation where, like, I was gonna just envision the movie the entire time reading this, and, like, that's just not really the case. Like, there are some differences, and there's a lot of differences in, like, different scenes and just the way that we go about the story and like how we get to breaking the curse, there's so many differences that it's like you can't picture the movie. You can't picture Anne Hathaway just skipping along through the book. But overall, I had a pleasant time. I think this was a very nice, gentle recommendation for this month, especially for the rest of this video and what's to come. So I appreciate this to kind of break up some of the things that I'm reading. But yeah, Ella Enchanted, everybody. Great.
Sam, for your treat this wonderful Booktober. Sorry you're seeing my my untamed rat tail, but for your treat, I want you to read Enjoy Me Among My Ruins by Juniper Fitzgerald. I know that you don't super get into memoirs a lot, but I think you're really gonna dig this one, and I like it a lot, and I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it. So I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that maybe we can convince some other people to read it, because it's an extremely good book, in my humble opinion. I cannot wait to see if you feel the same. So have fun. Love you.
Hi. My energy is a lot higher than the energy of this book. I have started Enjoy Me Among Your Ruins by Juniper Fitzgerald. This is a nonfiction memoir that Richie recommended, and it kind of feels like it's very short. It's like 100-something pages, and I don't know how to talk about it. I don't know who this woman is. I have no relation to her. I don't know what she's done. I don't know why she's written this. She's a former sex worker, mother, and there was something else about her, like in her like bio type thing. But this is kind of having the conversation of like her childhood trauma, the things that happened to her, how she relates it to these prestigious little texts and whatnot. And she's kind of like an academic in the sense. She's relating her experiences to Lolita, interesting enough, relating to Dracula. It is so beautifully written. It's very interesting. It's not necessarily like super emotional. It's kind of just, this is the stuff. Sorry, there's something in my eye and I look crazy. You can tell. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go to bed and take off makeup after this. But I'm really enjoying this for what it is, and I'm appreciating like the works and the way that it's like relating back. It's very heavy, definitely talking about some like very difficult things, because it's talking about her child sexual assault. It's talking about how she became pregnant, her addiction, all of these things that are very important and like obviously very crucial to her life story. And I think it's very interesting, and I really appreciate people like this who are just candid and honest about it. But like, God, the way that she tells it with the prose is so beautiful. Like, it's so hard to read, and you feel a lot of like emotions just within like the first 20 pages, and you're like, ow, but also whoa. Like, that's really pretty. So I'm having like, back to the conversation I had in my banned books vlog, it's not a good time, I'm not having fun, but I'm enjoying this take. I'm enjoying the conversations that we're having. I'm really excited to see what all this has in store and like how it's going to relate to each other, like what maybe a bigger point to it is. Like, I don't feel like she's just kind of telling us this for nothing, so I'm curious to see like where we go and for why, you know. But that's kind of my initial thoughts. I've just started this because it's short and I don't have a whole lot planned. It's 10:15 at night, so I'm gonna take off my makeup, crawl into bed, and I'm just gonna read this for as long as I can. And so I will either finish it tonight or check in with you if I have halfway thoughts to wherever I end up. But I'm really liking this. Good evening. I wanted to chat because earlier today I finished Enjoy Me Among My Ruins, and I have complex feelings that I need to talk to Richie through. Like, I don't know if I was intelligent enough. It's one of those things like, is the writing pretentious, or is this author who seems to be much more academic, finished school, like it has PhD, like super smart, is she just a lot smarter than me? Because there's so many big words in here, and it's like, are you using big words to be pretentious, or just because like that's how you write, or because you're trying to make this more scholarly? Like, I don't think I fully got it, which is fine. But there was definitely like a few moments where I was like, I am too tired to understand anything that I'm reading. And so I definitely think a lot of my issues with this book come down to it being a me problem. But overall, I wanted more of this, to be honest. I wanted more understanding. Sometimes things were said in such like a vague, flowery way that I was like, but what's happened to you? Like, what is the point of the story? Like, we're following her becoming a mom and the situation of that, and like obviously the conversations around sex work. And so like, I appreciated what we got, but I kind of wanted more point, more understanding to everything. Like, I didn't fully grasp what all was trying to be said, maybe, or like why this was being written, like why people would read this besides like treat sex workers like people. Like, I just don't know. I know there's so much more, it's so much deeper than that, but I really struggled with grasping onto everything. I really enjoyed the beginning, the first like 20%, really strong. The ending was pretty strong. I liked bits and pieces, but I just kind of left having more questions, wanting to know more about this person's life, like wondering what really led them through the process of everything, like how they ended up, especially where they are now. I'm very curious about. So like, yeah, it was a very interesting read. I'm glad that I read it because I'd never heard of this before, and it was definitely like something nice to pick up, especially because I'm also going to be reading Lolita next, and so it was kind of nice to have like some context and a little bit of like an analysis in some way to Lolita a little bit, and so it's kind of like, oh cool, nice correlation, whatever. But like, I do wish, I think I just wish I got it a little bit better because I just think I missed stuff. So unfortunately, I don't know, I don't rate memoirs, so it doesn't really matter how I feel in the end because I don't find it helpful necessarily to like rate somebody's life. It just feels weird to me, but like I also understand from a review standpoint, it helps to give a star rating so you have like an idea of how I feel. I think it would probably be in the 3 to 4 star range if I was to rate it. The writing itself, I think, is probably closer to a 4, just because I'm not great with words doesn't mean that it's like bad, and I think it makes sense for what it's saying, but there's definitely moments where I was like, we could just like use simple basic words. It's okay. But besides a few of those moments, I do overall think that it was like a good, interesting way of telling a story. So we're getting journal entries from when she's like 13, 14, and some of the life experiences she has that she's telling her friend Jillian. And then we're meeting some of the girls throughout her life that like mean something to her and have been crucial in her self-discovery and identity and whatnot. And then we're just getting like conversations about like what's happened to her and what things mean. And I think there's like a lot of good going on. I like the way it was told. I just wish there was more. I think I just wanted to know a lot more about this person. So yes, that's where I'm gonna leave this review. I did like it. I would recommend it if you're in a good headspace for it, if you can handle some of like the darker, more difficult conversations. But overall, it was well done. I just don't know if I'm smart enough. That's the only problem. But yeah, I think it was a good read. It was nice and short, at least. And I am more excited now to pick up Lolita. So, worked out. But yeah, okay. So, I just made it to part 2 of Lolita. So, I'm 47% in. And I really don't have, like, stuff to say, unfortunately. Like, is it well written? Absolutely. Is it gross? Sure. It's like, disturbing as it is to be in his mind as he's telling the story of what happened while he's getting ready for like the trial, I don't feel as if it's quite as gross as other books that I've tried to read. So I think a really big comparison for this would be something like The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, which is a book I had to DNF because I couldn't stomach being in specifically 2 of the characters who were preying on young children's minds. And this, in theory, should give me a similar disturbance and ick that like really throws me off and like makes me hate it or not finish it. But for some reason, that's just not the case. I don't know if maybe I haven't really gotten to like super graphic details yet, or I'm just able to kind of tune them out. I don't think that's the case though. I don't know. It's well written. It's not like a book that I'm like enjoying my time with, but I'm happy to be reading it finally after, I think it's been out for over 50 years, but it's been widely talked about. It's a very like important book in history. It's like one of the most banned books. There's a lot of controversy around it because it's labeled problematic. I really appreciated the foreword to this book talking about like the history of the banning and what the author's intent and messaging was and like why he wrote it and how he doesn't like want to shy away from these conversations. And I really, really appreciated the foreword. I think that really helped set my mind correctly for this, knowing like why it was written, what the intent was, rather than just like going in and being like, this is gross. I don't know. The narrator talks so fucking fast, and because he's a man narrating a book, I do have that issue of tuning out. That's just like my character flaw, is that I sometimes don't listen to men. And so there's definitely times where I notice I'm tuning out, but I mean, yeah, I like it, for what it is, I guess. It's definitely a book that I think would be better read in conversation, so I'm definitely going to want to talk to Richie later and be like, thoughts, opinions, tell me how to feel, because I'm not really sure at this moment. Like, it's well done. It's a well-written book. I don't know what more beyond that to really say. It's not like making me ponder things necessarily. Yeah, I guess that's where I'm at, halfway. I'm gonna finish it, wrap it up, let you guys know what I think, but that's kind of where we're at for the moment. A little bit perplexed. It is later. I am unsure how I want to talk about Lolita. Like, I get the messaging, I get why it was written, I get the like call for parents and adults and kids' lives to look out for signs and have conversations and open the dialogue, and banning the book kind of is doing the opposite, because now kids aren't going to have like a resource to see something that's happening to them and like have a way of expressing what's going on to a trusted adult. And like, this has helped so many people, and we're discussing a very sad story that's happened to so many people. But I think walking away from this being my very first time reading the book, I am a little bit more interested in the discourse around Lolita. I'm interested in the conversations around like the Lolita effect and different ways that it's harmed people but also helped people. I'm interested in like the true story of Sally, the little girl that was kind of, I guess, inspiration feels like the wrong word, but is the true story that this was based upon. I'm interested in like analysis of this, and I am not the person to do that on my first read. I'm not the person that's going to give you this beautiful and articulate way of explaining the deeper meanings of this book and how it has an effect on the world. Like, that's just not going to be me tonight, unfortunately. Like, it's not like something I can dive into during a month of posting a video every day, because it's just like beyond my capacity. But I am so interested in listening to every podcast on this. I'm watching YouTube videos and discussions that I'm really interested in. I want to hear about the original true crime case of it. Like, I just want to know more in like a societal context to this. I think this would be a great book for discussion, to talk with other people and how they portray it and like how they saw it, and if like they're related to different snippets of things happening. Like, I could see a lot of myself in Lolita, and although we don't really know her as a character, we don't see the inner workings of her. We are completely from Humphrey's head. Humphrey. But because we're in his head, and he's like supposed to be going to trial, but that doesn't pan out, and he's like giving us the memoir. It's unfortunate because he is just telling us, and it's up to us to look in the signs of Dolores and be like, these are the troubling signs. These are the moments where it's like, no, doesn't matter how old she is, it doesn't matter if it seems like she wanted this because of his framing of it, that there are warning signs that we should be looking out for. And I just, it's heavy, it's really well written. I think that it sparks so many discussions and conversations. Like, it's been so many years since it's come out, and I am fascinated by the dominoes effects of a book like this. I mentioned earlier like a comparison to Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, and I don't know if it's just because like Lolita doesn't have as many sex scenes as like other things, that it just didn't feel quite as graphic as The Bluest Eye. And not that they're at all really the same, but like there's still some similarities, especially with the young girl and the way that we're in the Predator's head space instead. But that was just like a little bit too much for me, and I wonder if I had the same maybe disturbing fascination of like the story and analysis around The Bluest Eye, if I would maybe enjoy it more. Like, not go back and read the book, but like search out analysis of other people dissecting it and looking at it and talking about it and like further discussion, or like giving it more context, because that's the thing that I was really lacking with The Bluest Eye. There was no forward talking about like intentions or anything. I just like was lacking importance as to like why I should be going through that. So it is an interesting like parallel that I'm trying to think through, but also it's late, so thank you guys for watching. I know this was kind of like a bummer of an ending. Maybe I should have put Ella Enchanted at the end rather than the beginning, but what can you do? Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. I hope for what this video was, you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have like any Lolita analysis that you think is really good. I have no interest in really watching the movie, to be honest, but there's a podcast that I found, did I save it? Please tell me I saved it. I didn't save it. Why would I save it? Jamie Loftus has like, I think it's like a 10-part Spotify podcast that I'm like pretty interested in. So I think I'm gonna listen to that, but if there's anything else that you guys have recommend for like analyses purposes, let me know, because it's very interesting to me. It's like a very important topic to me. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow.